The early Christian writer Tertullian is reputed to have said, "The blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church." These words can sound unsettling to modern ears. But how do we truly comprehend the scale of early Christian persecution? From our relatively comfortable world today, the stories of the Roman persecutions of spectacles in places like the Colosseum can feel distant, almost mythological. Some may wonder whether they truly happened as described, or whether their scale has been exaggerated by time. Yet even if they are far removed from us, the question remains. Has humanity changed so much that Tertullian's words no longer apply? Or are these realities closer to our own history than we often acknowledge? In more recent centuries, we find the example of the English martyrs of the Reformation. For a time, their stories were a living source of inspiration for English Catholics. Today, they risk fading from memory, lost in a modern mindset more concerned with acceptance than with uncomfortable truth. There is often a preference for optimism, for harmony, for what might be called a feel-good interpretation of history. In an age of ecumenism, there can be a tendency to say, "Let the past remain in the past." But the question remains. Those martyrs died because they held to what the Catholic Church has always taught, that she is the church founded by Christ, and that the fullness of salvation is found within her. This teaching is reflected in the Catechism of the Catholic Church, which, drawing on the Second Vatican Council, states that those who knowingly refuse to enter or remain in the Church cannot be saved. In fidelity to this conviction, St. Thomas More gave up wealth, status, and life itself, declaring, "I die the King's faithful servant, but God's first." His words have inspired countless people, rich and poor, powerful and vulnerable, united by a shared love of the faith, and especially of its most profound expression, the Holy Mass. This struggle, in one form or another, continues across the centuries. One moment in history that reflects this is the Pilgrimage of Grace. Imagine the hope and intensity of that time. Leaders gathering those loyal to the old faith, seeking to address the influence upon King Henry and to restore the religious life of England as it had existed for over 1,000 years. They marched under the banner of the 5 wounds of Christ, a symbol that itself pointed to suffering, sacrifice, and identification with Christ. Such imagery would later be echoed in other movements across history, the Vendeans under the Sacred Heart, and the Cristeros with their cry, "Viva Cristo Rey." These were movements shaped by a desire to preserve what they believed had been handed down to them, the faith of their ancestors, and above all, the Holy Mass, which had now been outlawed. For them, this was not merely a ritual practice. It was the center of their spiritual life. They became part of a wider resistance, one that would ultimately see many pay with their lives. They sought to follow Christ himself, and the witness of those across the ages who placed his kingship above all earthly authority. There were promises made that grievances would be heard, and hopes that compromise might be possible, but these assurances proved empty. The pilgrimage was eventually disbanded by its own leadership, and what followed was not reconciliation, but suppression. In the aftermath came executions and persecution on a wide scale. It became a defining example of the cost of resisting the religious settlement imposed by the crown. People came from all levels of society. Many could have saved their lives simply by taking the oath of supremacy and accepting the new order. Instead, they chose fidelity to Christ, to his teaching, and to his church. Their central concern was not politics, but worship. Above all, it was the Holy Mass they sought to preserve. This conviction continued through generations, carried quietly but firmly by those who refused to let it be lost. As Christ says in the Gospel of St. John, "If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you do not belong to the world, but I have chosen you out of the world." And so the question remains, for each generation in its own time. What do we hold most sacred? And what are we willing to endure for it?
said the blood was planted like a seed beneath the ground. In stories we remember, but rarely gather round. We speak in softer language now, of unity and peace, and hope the cost of witness was a momentary thing. In the shadow of the empire, where the crowds would turn to see, faith was cast before the lions for the sake of loyalty. And we wonder from a distance, in the safety of our time, were they driven by conviction or some distant state of mind? Seed of the church, buried in the earth. Was it myth or was it memory? Did it happen as they say? Or have centuries of telling let the truth just drift away? We explain it as a moment from a harsher, older age, something far removed from us now, just a distant turning page. Seed of the church, buried in the earth. What is sown in silent suffering reveals its hidden worth. Yet the story draws in closer to a land we think we know, where the oath became the measure of the faith you would not show. Take your place within the order, speak the words and you are free. But the cost of quiet living was a deeper slavery. was broken, hands were shaking.